Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And it appears that your boy Chris Jones, representing Physiques of Greatness, has gotten in on this Cali muscle shrinkage discussion. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Alright guys, you guys know I made a video on this the other day, got a response from Callie's girlfriend, got a lot of views, and Callie even responded. Now we're going to have some fun, we're going to joke a little bit with some of this, we're going to discuss some of what Chris even said jumping into this discussion because he had his own interesting insights. But something I want to highlight up front, this is not a laughing matter. I feel like I can use this as a platform to help a lot of people out there because there's a lot of people who lift for a specific reason. People who've suffered certain types of abuse in their life tend to get into lifting. It's very, very common, men and women both. And it's again about empowerment, empowering yourself. Now, Callie knows about my childhood situation. He occasionally makes a video joking about it. And, just to show you guys what sort of person he is, I'm going to link it below with the timestamp. Because he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's a way to shame somebody. And any of his fans who are watching this who really think you like Callie, you better listen to what he says about people who are abused as children. He thinks it's funny. You need to let that sink in when you think about what sort of person this is. And, the thing is, what's interesting is that he thinks he can shame me. That's his only response to what I say when I'm critical of him. He acts like he's a positive person, but, the only thing he can respond with is to try to shame me for that. I'm a grown man. All right, I've already gone to the police, all that stuff, many, many, many years ago about all this. I went through therapy for all this. It's impossible for someone to shame me like that. See, my uncle shamed me. When people are abused as children, the abuser shames them into silence. They shame them into silence. That's one of the strategies. And a lot of you out there, here's what I'm going to tell you. A lot of you out there, you might have suffered as children. You might have been abused. You might have been hurt. But you know what? You got to talk about it. You got to get that off your chest. And I know a lot of you out there started lifting because of that. That's real common. When I've said this before, people have come in and admitted that. It's real common, guys. The only way you're ever going to heal is to get it off your chest. You need to talk about it. And if you're young enough, you need to bring those people to justice. And that's not an easy thing. And I say that, but that's easier said than done. It'll be one of the hardest things you ever do in your life. It'll be one of the hardest things you ever do. In fact, Kira, who was somewhat in certain circles online, a prominent fitness person in the online fitness community, I'm friends with her former coach. She went through all this. She was a mother of 5 children. I had highlighted her in a video when she was alive. She went through this, and it was something her and I talked about in private a bit. She testified against the person who abused her as a child. She was a mother of 5. And it saddens me to say this, but after she did so, she couldn't handle it anymore. She went forward, she testified, and a few months later, she took her own life. And I think that goes to show people how devastating this sort of stuff is. It's not a funny matter. It's not a laughing matter. And again, it shows what sort of psychopath someone like Callie is, that he really and truly thinks that he can shame someone. But that's his tactic. He wants to shame somebody the same way their abusers shame them. That tells me a lot about him as a person. And you guys who are fans of his, you better let that sink in. That is the sort of person he is. All right, he should not be having children. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, on to what we're talking about. Chris pointed out, these guys are all quitting. All these guys are getting smaller. All these bodybuilders are dying. And that's what Chris is saying. Look, you're going to see a lot of this. A lot of the guys are going to come way down on less drugs. Because the drugs are killing them. Drugs are killing people. They're using too much. These bodybuilders are dropping dead. They're dropping like flies. I had YouTubers die as a result of their drug abuse. Guys, this is a problem. And so he's saying, it's a good thing that Callie's quit this. And I'm going to say Callie got too old. Callie probably already shortened his life 30, 40 years. I already said he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it another decade. He will not. The damage to him, based upon what I can observe, bad diet, the amount of abuse, I get a pretty good idea of what he used. He's not going to make it anyways. He probably extended his life a few years by coming off most of the stuff now. So that's a good thing. But I mean, Chris, you got to remember, man, you know, you're talking about these guys that are coming off all this stuff. Well, how are they going to get fans? You know, here's the thing. None of these guys know how to train. I mean, a perfect example. All right, Chris, for example. Yeah, Chris does a fair amount of fluff and pump, but Chris is also strong. He trains heavy. We've seen Chris incline bench 315. He front squats 405. We've seen him back squat 500. Chris, you've squatted 500. I think you have. I know he's done a 5 plate. I thought I saw it a couple years back. It could be, I could be losing my mind, but I think he has. All right, Chris actually does train for strength. He knows the importance of getting really strong on the big barbell lifts, right? He does the other fluff and pump, and a lot of these guys, they're all fluff and pump. Guys like Callie, without the drugs, he wouldn't have the size. If he continues to train the way he's been training and keeps coming off, Callie's not just going to lose another 5 pounds of muscle. He's going to lose 30 pounds of muscle. Callie's going to drop down to 170 pounds. All right? Let that sink in, and then all that synthol's really going to show. What are these guys going to do? They don't know how to train. So if all of these guys come off all this stuff, the whole serious hardcore bodybuilding world has built upon horrific training concepts that don't work for people not on drugs. They're all going to try to emulate this training, and they're all going to be tiny. They're not going to be big. Because when you're not on drugs, the only way to get big is to get brutally strong. Again, go back to what Chris is doing here. Now, we can argue all day long about whether Chris is natty or not. I understand that is a massive debate. And I understand it's a good debate. It's an interesting argument. Because, I mean, there's strong points on both sides of this debate. But Chris is at least strong. Chris is strong, right? Incline bench 315, squat 500. That's not weak. That's not weak for a guy who's under 200 pounds, okay? By any stretch of the imagination. And like my bro Nico, who I point out, look how strong he is after over 15 years of training. He competes natty, but, you know, 650 deadlifter, 500 high bar squatter, can rep out 315 on the pause bench. I mean, come on, he's strong. A lot of these guys, if they have not trained to build an enormous strength base, they're going to get sucked up. They're going to shrink. And then when all their fans realize they don't have anything but the drugs, how's anybody going to follow? How are they going to sell programs? How are they going to get anybody to follow them? They better be entertaining. At least a lot of people follow Callie for the entertainment. Hopefully they don't follow him for his training information, because when you're talking about getting a pump in the blood, constant tension, when you don't have drugs in the system, that's not going to work, guys. That's not going to work for the guys who the strongest thing they're taking is creatine. All right, they need to get strong. They need to get under a heavy-ass barbell squat. They need to get their bench up to at least 300 pounds, 350. They need to get their squat up to 500, right? They need to get their deadlift up to 600. They want to get big. You know, how much weight can they do from a weighted chin up? Right? If they can't do those things, how are they going to be big? So these guys come off all their drugs. None of them ever learned how to train. Most of them don't know how to train without drugs. They have no clue what to do. They're going to be sucked up. They're going to be sucked up. Then where are they going to be? So, Chris, I understand your point. I get it, man, and you're right. These guys need to come off for their health. They're all going to die. But this whole YouTube fitness community and these bodybuilders better learn how to actually lift. They better learn how to actually lift, or this is going to backfire on them. Because you can't get big if you are weak by doing fluff and pump. Constant tension and pumping blood into the muscle gives you a pump. It doesn't make you bigger. It's not going to make you big. You need some actual serious tension on a muscle. You need to get some, you have to have some serious time under a heavy barbell. Years and years under a heavy barbell to get big without drugs. Most of them don't know how to do that. Some of them do, but the majority don't. It might not work out too well for them. I'm just saying. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.